My dear friend, I want to share with you today one of the most liberating truths I have ever discovered about the working of universal mind. It is a truth that will free you from anxiety, disappointment, and the terrible habit of giving up just when your demonstration is about to manifest. You see, there is a great misunderstanding abroad in the world about how the creative power operates. People have been led to believe that when they make their mental picture and hold it with faith, their desire should appear instantly, like magic. When it doesn't materialize overnight, they become discouraged. They begin to doubt. They abandon their visualization practice altogether. But this expectation of instant manifestation is not in harmony with the natural laws through which universal mind expresses itself. There is a primary law that governs all creation, and I call it the law of growth. Think for a moment about everything in nature around you. The mighty oak tree did not appear in full majesty the moment the acorn was planted. The beautiful rose did not burst forth complete and perfect the instant the seed touched the soil. Every living thing follows the same immutable pattern. First the seed, then the tender shoot, then gradual development, and finally the full expression of what was contained within that original seed. Your mental picture operates according to this same law of growth. When you visualize your desire with faith and feeling, you are not commanding the universe to produce instant results. You are planting a seed in the fertile soil of universal substance. That seed must grow according to natural law. Now I know what you may be thinking. You may say, "But Miss Behrend, I have been holding my picture for weeks, even months, and nothing has happened." My dear friend, I would venture to say that much has happened, but you have not recognized it. You have been looking for the full-grown oak tree while dismissing the tender green shoot that has already broken through the ground. This is where most people fail in their understanding. They do not recognize the early stages of their manifestation. They are waiting for the complete fulfillment while overlooking the very evidence that their mental picture is taking form. Let me tell you how to recognize these early manifestations, these precious seeds of your greater good. They often appear as what some might call coincidences, but there are no coincidences in a universe governed by law. There are only the orderly movements of creative spirit responding to your mental direction. Perhaps you have been visualizing greater abundance, and suddenly you receive an unexpected refund in the mail. It may be small, but it is the universe's way of establishing the channel through which your larger good will flow. Or maybe you have been picturing a new opportunity, and an old acquaintance calls you out of the blue with information that leads somewhere promising. These are not random events. They are the first stirrings of your demonstration coming into form. I remember when I was seeking the $20,000 to study with Judge Troward in England. For weeks, I faithfully made my mental picture every morning and evening, counting those $20,000 bills with absolute faith that they were mine, but the money did not appear instantly in my purse. Instead, it came as what seemed like a small idea, a tiny possibility that occurred to me while walking down the street one day. That small idea grew into an opportunity, which developed into a definite avenue, which finally resulted in the full $20,000 I required. Had I dismissed that first small idea as insignificant, had I said, "Oh, this is not my $20,000. This is just a foolish thought," I would have cut off the very channel through which my good was seeking to reach me. You see, universal mind works through natural means. It does not violate the laws of the physical world, but uses them as channels for its expression. Your visualization creates what I call a spiritual nucleus around which the corresponding physical conditions can crystallize. But this crystallization follows the law of growth, beginning small and expanding gradually into full manifestation. The secret is learning to recognize and welcome these early signs. When that unexpected check arrives, no matter how small, your response should be one of joyful recognition. Thank you, universal mind. I see that my abundance is beginning to take form. I welcome its continued growth. When that chance meeting occurs, when that helpful information comes your way, when that surge of creative energy fills you with new ideas, acknowledge these as the early movements of your demonstration. But here is the crucial point. You must nurture these seeds with the same care a gardener gives to tender shoots. If a gardener saw the first green leaves breaking through the soil and said, "Oh, this is nothing. This is not the flower I planted," and then neglected to water and tend that shoot, what would happen? The plant would wither and die. The same thing happens with the seeds of your manifestation. When you dismiss the small signs as meaningless, when you become impatient because they are not yet the full expression of your desire, you withdraw the mental energy needed for their growth. You must maintain your faith and gratitude not only for the complete manifestation, but for every sign of progress along the way. I have seen so many people abandon their mental work just when their demonstration was beginning to show itself in these early stages. They expected the complete picture to appear at once, and when it didn't, they concluded the law didn't work for them. What a tragedy this is, for they were often just weeks or even days away from seeing their desire come into full form. Remember, your mind is the center of divine operation, and divine operation is always for expansion and fuller expression. But this expansion follows orderly growth. When you plant a seed of desire in consciousness, the creative power immediately begins working to bring it forth. It sets in motion all the circumstances and conditions necessary for manifestation. But these circumstances must develop naturally, each one preparing the way for the next. Sometimes the growth appears to slow down or even stop. Do not be discouraged by this. Even in nature, there are periods of apparent dormancy when tremendous activity is taking place beneath the surface. The tree may appear unchanged through the winter months, but within its roots and branches, vital preparations are being made for the burst of growth that will come with spring. Your demonstration may go through similar periods. You may see encouraging signs for a while, then nothing seems to happen for days or weeks. This is not evidence that the law has stopped working. It is simply the natural rhythm of growth. Continue to hold your mental picture with calm confidence, knowing that unseen preparation is taking place for the next stage of manifestation. Now, let me give you something practical to do. Tonight, before you retire, take a few quiet moments to look back over the past week. Ask yourself this question: what small signs of my desire have already appeared? Look carefully, because I promise you they are there. Perhaps it was a conversation that gave you new insight. Perhaps it was a small opportunity that opened up. Perhaps it was simply a feeling of increased confidence about your goal. Write down every sign you can identify, no matter how small it might seem. Express gratitude for each one. See them not as insignificant events, but as evidence that universal mind is responding to your mental picture. This practice will train you to recognize the early stages of manifestation and will greatly accelerate the growth of your demonstration. As you continue this work, you will discover something wonderful. You will begin to see the perfect order in which your good unfolds. You will understand that every small sign, every seeming coincidence, every helpful encounter was a necessary step in bringing your desire from the invisible realm of mind into the visible world of form. This understanding will give you tremendous peace of mind. No longer will you be anxious about when your demonstration will appear. You will know that it is already appearing, already growing, already developing according to perfect law. Your work is simply to maintain your mental picture with faith, to recognize and welcome each stage of growth, and to do whatever practical action presents itself along the way. The law of growth is not a limitation, but a blessing. It ensures that when your desire reaches full manifestation, all the supporting conditions will be in place for you to receive and maintain your good. Trust this law, work with it, and know that your demonstration is as certain as the sunrise, for you are dealing with principles that never fail. Hold fast to your vision, Welcome every small sign and watch in wonder as your mental picture grows from seed to glorious fulfillment.